Hey guys, welcome back. Winter trip number 2, and this is inspired by a Redditor, and want to do special thanks real quick to our survival for all the awesome support and motivation. I was encouraged to go out here and do a bushcraft overnight, and while I'm not doing a full bushcraft overnight, it's going to be our first experience with building a debris shelter. And I think the one that I'm going to go for is a wiki up. It's kind of like a teepee, so the pack load is a little bit heavier. We're at like 44 pounds, and I brought a hatchet and a Bowie knife so we could process some wood a little bit easier. And we're basically just going to be looking for anything that's down on the ground, because there's a lot of trees up there that have fallen over and stuff that we can use. So we won't be cutting down any green trees or anything like that, and we're just going to be using what's available on the ground. I'm not going to be filming any of the beginning of this because I've basically already filmed it on my last video, which you can check out in the description and in the comments below. So if you want to have an idea about what it looks like on the way up there, watch that video. So we're going to head in roughly 6 to 7 miles, and then we're going to get right up there on that peak. So we're going to have a great view, and if everything goes together, it should be an awesome experience. So I'm really paranoid though. I've never done any of this bushcraft stuff. And anyways, I should stop talking and get the video going. I'll catch you guys at the top. Alright, I've been hiking along. So we're 6-7 miles in. And if you remember, I wanted to go up that hill. Well, I'm up that hill right now. I'm sorry I did not take the gimbal with me. Just kind of scouting out for where I want to go along this area because it's super flat. And we're about to breach this top here. And it's super gorgeous, and I want you guys to be here with me for it. So let's see what's at the top. I probably won't put it up here because of the wind. It can get really windy up here. And down below there's so much downed wood. Again, this is going to be a debris shelter. Did not need to cut anything down. Oh, it does look gorgeous though. It's quite the view. But the wood situation is not the same up here. Definitely not the same. And down below it will kind of shelter us a little bit better from the wind. Wow, look at that square rock up there. Looks like it was carved. What a cool place to sit though. Oh, it's not square at all. I don't see any tracks. It's supposed to snow for the next 5 days up here, so I wanted to come up here today while it was still nice and sunny. It'd make working a little bit easier. Somewhere around noon, we might be able to build this thing before sundown. I don't know. One thing's for sure, I'm going to get the fire started super early, like right when I get back, because there's so much wood down there, so much dead wood. I'll show you when we get back down. Should we go up there? We should. I definitely think we should. Oh, I should have brought the gimbal. I'm so sorry. This is not one of those walk-by videos, for sure. This is going to be part of the debris building thing. And I'm going to make 2 videos out of that. One that's like very short where I don't talk at all. And then another where I talk. but I will be promoting the one where I don't talk at all. Ooh, I don't know, maybe this is going to be where it's at. This is awfully nice up here. I mean, you got crazy views. Just absolutely spectacular views. We're about a quarter mile off of the trail. And I didn't get to follow up with that dude. That dude was basically following me all the way up the trail. And I finally decided I was going to take a break. And when I said I was going to camp, he then left. I didn't want anybody knowing where I was tonight. Especially somebody that kind of looks like a crackhead. He definitely looked like a meth addict. He was wearing pajama pants up here. Pajama pants. I mean, what? People. So he definitely just looked like one of those kind of sketchy characters. And yeah, let's go up to the top. Let's see what we can get. Oh. Man, that's beautiful. Let's go around this corner here. Gotta be careful, I don't wanna. And the guy was in tennis shoes, and he hiked up about 6-7 miles. Some people are hardcore though, but once I got a feel for what he was saying and stuff, he wasn't a backpacker, he hikes every now and then. He's very nice. His dog was well trained, but there was something a little off about him. Kind of had that I give myself my own haircuts look. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, I don't want people knowing where I'm at up here. Not because I can't be up here, I just want to know I'm by myself. Well, this could go up a ways. Let's go walk over there and see what kind of view we can get. But I'm pretty much calling it that it's going to be down a little bit lower. Gosh, it would be cool up here. I'd have to drag all that stuff up here though. So he also kind of made me get a late start because I went up the hill, and again because I didn't want him knowing exactly where I was beelining off the trail. Gosh, that would be a magnificent view right there. Look at this situation over here with the trees. It's such a hard decision to make because the view up here is so killer, but the tree situation down below is just like perfect. There's so much on the ground. Kind of cool in here, though. Let's go a little bit farther. And then we need to get to work. Trying to get this done in one day, but I don't know if it's going to be doable. I have a cherry wood stick I got from the orchard that I'm going to try to maybe carve tonight at the fire into a pretty walking stick. Cherry wood's very, very hard. It's at an oak level of hardness. And I have more confidence in this than I have my walking poles. I don't like those walking poles because they started giving out. Because they're the self-adjustable kind, and I just don't trust those. So I can put some confidence in this wood here. Alright, what do we got here to work with? If we get a flat spot, I might be tempted because of these views. It'd be considerable amount of work though. See, oh, right there. This would be cool. There's a way I could get down there. You can see, if you can see down there, there's a lot of downed wood. And that's why I was saying I don't have to cut anything down. And that's one thing about bushcraft that I don't want to do. I don't want to cut certainly anything that's green, but I'd rather use non-green wood. Plus where I'm at, you can only make debris shelters, so I kind of want to stick to that. Oh, you know, this is it. I don't want to do the work here, but this is it. My inside voice tells me that this is absolutely perfect. I can get down this other side, I think. I don't really care if I can get down it or not. This just has to happen. With the rocks over here, you've got like some really cool seats. Oh, I don't know though, the wood situation is just like so different. But wouldn't that be the best thumbnail ever for a shelter? So much more work. I almost just ate it. I haven't seen any prints of anything up here. Brought the gimbal. Well, look at that. Looks like I can definitely, there's these flat, like, I could definitely pull some wood out of down there. It'll have to get drug all the way up here. And that will really make it so this is probably going to take more than one day. Oh, this is such a hard decision. What do you think, guys? Let's go down around the corner and I'll walk back to my pack and kind of think about it. Let's take a look at that flat spot over to the left. I'll show you guys here. Those are woodpecker holes? See, look at this. This is another option. Get down in here and get wood. Oh, I need to be careful, man. There's some ice. Kind of a sweet spot right here, too. There's some deer tracks. Yeah, I just think it would be so killer to be at the top there. We get a good structure going, we won't have to worry about the wind. Definitely ain't going up that way. Oh no. Yeah, you'll see in a second. Everything I need is in one spot down there. There are some nice downed logs, though. I don't need anything that big. Except it gets a little sketchy going in here. It'd also be nice to have it somewhere where it's not at a potential risk of getting a tree falling on it. Like that big beast that fell over. Alright, I want to walk back and think about this. Okay, so we're at the spot, and boy was I about to freak out again. Remember I had battery problems last time? Well, apparently some of these knockoff batteries that I bought, some of them don't work and they reset the phone. I think it might only work with the original stock battery, even though the guy said it was a real Samsung battery, but I'm starting to question that. So anyways, wanted to show you where we're at. Last time, if you remember, we went up the hill and then we were down there. And so I've climbed up this way. This beautiful sunset going on here. Later in the day than I wanted it to. That dude really set me back about an hour. And I definitely did not get a good feeling from that guy. I've met plenty of people on the trail. And one thing that I try to tell people, 37 years old, if you have a gut feeling about something, your first instinct is usually always right. So I'm just kind of glad to be rid of that dude. And so here we go. Aside from that, this is the spot. And you can see why I really wanted to come up here. I have this nice wind wall, basically. There's not a whole bunch of dead trees in here. So I'm going to have to pick my spot very carefully. That way something doesn't fall and hit me in the tent or the shelter. I don't really see any huge widowmaker branches. And you can see that there's wood all over the place, and that a lot of these trees have a variety of dead branches and stuff like that. I mean, look what's in there. So already I've pretty much found the 3 support beams that I need, which are going to be the like foundation of the pole. There's one of them you can see back in there real long. Just a ton of great wood, and it's got this just really nice little spot right there. I think this is where I'm going to put it, but I'm not sure. I'm sticking dead center right there, and it's got a view of the mountains over here. Nothing like what we had up there, but the pros and cons for being up top was cons, not access to any wood. And not just with building wood, I was thinking about taking the wood and just saying, screw it, I'm gonna go hike it all the way up there. It's gonna take a few more trips than I expected to do this, but it's doable. And then I realized that there's still so much wood down here, so if I wanted to ever get wood for fire or anything like that, it's just gonna be a lot more simple down here. And as windy as it gets here sometimes, I think this would really pay off. And by not being up there, I don't know. Again, my gut instinct is just saying, stay down here. And I really have had some success with listening to that gut feeling. Just so much wood. Dead branches. Access to some green branches. Again, we're not going to be taking any trees down because you can see there's just plenty of stuff to work with that's already on the ground. Not quite sure where this is going to be put yet. There's a really great sunset that cracks through these trees. I'm also thinking somewhere in here. Possibly, excuse me, possibly looking out over that way. I am definitely worried about more widowmakers, though. It does seem like a thing. Well, check this out. There's also a spot over here. This definitely isn't going like I thought it would. It's almost 1:45. And I haven't done anything. But the plan was for this first video was just going to be going up, getting the resources in a pile, and finding the spot. So I think I maybe expected too much of my first trip. Now before we walked up there, and that's how we got up on the mountain with the views, which is kind of cool. So when we are hanging out here, we'll have a place that we can go and hang out. I also like that we have access to the sun, so we'll have some nice sunny views to look at, not like right in the dark. Let's take a look over here, because I don't know, something just tells me that maybe I shouldn't put it over there. It would be cool though when it snows. This is only going to be really used mostly in the snow. July and August really kind of sucks for filming. I thought it would be the exact opposite, but there's just so many ticks, fleas, rattlesnakes. Some type of deer went through here. Maybe an elk. Actually, you know what? This would be a great spot right here. I have access to the trees. If I really wanted to do some filming and put up a little fire pit in the winter, I could do it in there because I've got that nice tree cover. From over here, I mean, look at this. Look at that great view. Wouldn't it be cool to have the door facing into that? I don't know. I think I'm thinking there. Yeah, these tracks don't have pads on them, so it's some type of deer or elk. Let's walk over here and see what's over here. This is a hard decision. The other problem is I know this is going to kind of sound vain, but you know, I want my videos to get views. If I put the door facing us this way, I'll be able to take the thumbnail with the shelter with that view. And I haven't seen hardly any shelters made at the top of a mountain with a view. In fact, I can't think of any that I found, and I was looking for them. So I was thinking, man, that thumbnail could really look amazing if you get the thing built right there and you can see the fire inside of it, and then you got that killer view right there. I could make two doors too. I could make it so like the thumbnail is taken in one angle and then I just move it around to the other side, because I want to make a door for it. Man, and my pack being an extra 4, maybe 5 pounds, I could feel it on my legs already. That's why those long distance hikers, they really insist that like ounces add up. And they do. There's some droppings over here. Right there. Goats are also up here as well. We saw one on one of the winter hiking videos. Yeah, I think let's walk back over. I'm making this decision in real time. Again, this is going to be the long video. There is going to be a video that comes after this where there's not going to be any talking. It's going to be filmed very similar to like what TA Outdoors did with some of his videos, where it's cut to this, cut to that, cut to that, cut to this. I definitely think videos like this do better when you're building something, because you can also appeal to the international crowd. Trying to make this something special. I'm trying. Potentially a cool spot right here too. But with that tree, it like nixes the view. harder decision than I expected. I'm so concerned about the view, the view. Gotta get that good thumbnail. I see it right there. See it in the middle? Can you see it? Can you envision it there? Right there. I just like knowing that nothing's gonna crush me from over here. I don't know if it's flat though. It's so obviously flat up there at the top. And down here it's not really like that. I don't know. What about right what about there? Let's go walk up there and take a peek. I also brought the trail camera. See if we get some animals. I'm gonna put that down later in the day because I don't trust people. I just met somebody that looked pretty much like a meth head. And if he saw it walking down the trail, he'd probably grab it. Maybe not, but I don't want to take any chances. Right here. Just doesn't look right. Maybe kind of flat. There's a stump. Right there kind of looks good. It's not going to be very big. It's basically going to be as wide or as long as a bed. So easily from like there to there, just long enough that you could put a... I don't know. All right, you guys, I'm gonna kind of struggle with this a little bit more and get processing. my Note 4 just burst on me. And, not burst, but it stopped recording. I don't think they like recording in the snow. The battery just got nuked in the cold. It's not that cold. It's only, let me see. Let's see. What do we got here? I won't be able to see that. Dang it. 26. There's supposed to be a low tonight of about 18. I've got the new 0 degree bag. Pretty happy about that. trying to heat up my feet because they are so cold. I just hope I sleep tonight. Like, last time, that was the worst sleep I've ever had. And I've had some shitty sleeps. Like, not, no offense to Lawson hammocks, because it ain't their fault. I just can't sleep in hammocks. But that sleep in the Lawson, like if you watch that video where I went and took it backpacking, I just kept waking up and I was like, oh. Since my accident, I can't bend my back like that. I have to sleep flat with support. I used to not even be able to like lay on the like flat floor. Okay, we'll see how this goes. I've got my new synthetic Alps Design 0 degree laying in it right now. Feels really comfy. So I'll be able to zip this up even a little bit more around the side. I'm like really packed in here, and it's comfy, and I have no complaints. I think we got a winner here. Feel like a bug in a rug. So in case this is the end of the video, which it may be, might not be, I think it will be. Will Wild signing off. Special thanks to Rick Chisholm, again, great producer, and all you wonderful viewers at home. I'm gonna go to bed now, and hopefully I stay warm. Good night. A little bit of an update. I'm completely miserable. I am staying warm. I could have been warmer. At one point I started getting a cold, and I'm like, why am I cold? And I look over, and there's the fucking Outdoorsman Lab sleeping pad sitting over here in the corner, because I keep moving so much that my body just pushed the whole thing out. It's hard to see, but sleeping pad isn't under me. The winter one is, and the Reflectix is, but it's noticeable. It's definitely noticeable. The 0 degree bag so far has been a huge win, but I'm cramped up. I'm uncomfortable. I'm fucking miserable. Part of it could be this one-man tent. Like, I'm really like, just really sandwiched in here, and it does suck, and it's always kind of sucked in that sense. I forgot my piss bottle and had to piss in the Nalgene, so now the new Nalgene, one of my Nalgene bottles is now going to be the official piss bottle. Won't be using that after pissing in it. So now, after I get off the phone, I'm going to try to, like, put this fucking sleeping pad back under me. I'm in a bad mood. Now, it's also partially my fault. I went to bed again early as shit. I went to bed at 7:19 just because I was in just a bad mood, you know. I got up here, I worked my ass off, spent a lot of time on shit, pacing back and forth around here, and I was just completely exhausted. I've been sleeping here and there, but now I don't snore. I am not a snorer. But I started to like, and like, I just immediately fucking wake myself up. And, yeah. You know, one thing that's interesting is the Note 4, when I talked about the batteries, they were affected by the cold. This Note 8 does not seem to be affected by the cold. Like, it's freezing. It feels like I'm holding an ice cube, and it's at 51%. And last time I looked at it was like 5 hours ago, and it was at 53%. So, that's pretty impressive. I've got my hood on, which is really helping me. I had that off for a while, and I put it on and started getting some better sleep because my head wasn't getting so cold. I don't like my face hanging out of these bags, and that kind of sucks. I'm just miserable. I'm just really fucking miserable. I just get cramped up and uncomfortable when I'm sleeping. I haven't figured this out yet, and I don't think I actually ever will. Like, I don't think there's anything I can do. Like, even if that sleeping pad hadn't have gone out, like, I don't think that would have changed much. I'm just fucking miserable and uncomfortable, and everything hurts and stiff, and it's only like 3:30, and I want to get up, but until about 6 o'clock, there ain't gonna be no goddamn light. So I'm just gonna suffer for a bit more. If last time was a 10 out of 10 on the suffering scale, I'm at it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I'm still warm. I'm not shivering. I'm just fucking uncomfortable and stiff and sore and everything. Everything. My arms, my legs, my back, my neck. Everything is cramped. So, if anybody has any suggestions on how to sleep without getting cramped, please let me know, because I am just failing. And mostly I think I'm just tossing and turning. I'm tossing and turning so much one of my sleeping pads just completely went out from under me. So, fuck. I don't know how cold it is. So, it's supposed to be around 18 tonight. We'll see when we get outside. Because I left the thing out there. And okay, just a minor update. My Goal Zero flashlight won't turn on. It's got full battery power, but now it won't turn on. What am I doing here? The loftness of the sleeping pad significantly helps. I got that under Outdoorsman Lab pad back under me, and immediately it was like putting a marshmallow under me. Because if you've seen that 4-season pad that I'm using, it's just flat. It's just pure flat. And there's no loft whatsoever. And it's uncomfortable. And it will make you cold too. Because you don't have like those air chambers for air to move around underneath of you. And I immediately felt a warmth boost and a comfort boost. A massive comfort boost. Still uncomfortable as fuck. But like, I'll take it. I'll totally take it. And yeah, and then more good news was that somehow, like, I tried to see if I had service here last night because I got bored and turned on my phone for a minute, and I got an email from PayPal saying that here's your security code to log into your account. So somebody overnight tried to hack into my PayPal account, so that's nice. So I'm at this position now where I'm just like, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. We're still going to charge on. We're going to shoot for one winter trip a week until I get this down. But man, you guys, this is like, you're testing my patience. I want my bed. I want to move my legs outside of the mummy bag. These mummy bags are just... they're the fucking worst. I want to move my legs around. I'm a slide sleeper. I sleep like a monkey. Like, I need to move. I can't. And I don't know what it is out here, but I did this last time. I start having dreams about backpacking while I'm out here that make me not realize, like, am I dreaming or is this what's actually going on right now? Last time it was the same thing. I was dreaming about being out in the tent somewhere. Now I was dreaming that praying mantises were eating through the tent, and I was having to kill them. I mean, like, we're talking like hundreds of praying mantises were coming inside my tent. And I was like, fuck, what do I do? And I was smashing the shit out of them. And, well, that wasn't real. So, there's a plus. Yay. And there's our low for the night. 19.8. Pretty chilly. Not crazy chilly, but it was cold. I definitely got a little cold. Not to the point where I couldn't sleep or was uncomfortable, though. Oh, it was so cold that I had to get a fire started here. Last time I brought hand warmers, and I put them in my pockets, and as I was putting my gear away in the morning, I learned this lesson. If you're a new backpacker, if it's really cold out, your fingers are going to suck. They're going to hate putting away that gear, unsnapping that tent. And it's nice to be able to put them in your pockets for some nice warmth. And I'd actually woken up, and before I got up, I put them in my boots. And that warmed up my boots as well. And my boots are freezing right now. So definitely I'm going to be bringing those next time. But it was nice to be able to get the fire started again. Okay, we're just about packed up, and please excuse my disheveled appearance. I have had a mop on my head all night. And yeah, yesterday did not go as I expected, but at the same time it kind of went better than I expected. In a second we'll walk over and take one final look at the tripod that I built, the frame. And that was the biggest concern for me, was getting that frame finished, because I didn't think I was going to be able to take care of it with the knots. And, tying those knots. But it was firm. It was super firm. As I said, I was able to do pull-ups on it. And just want to talk about a couple things. One, I talked about meeting a dude, which I'm not going to show him on camera. And when I saw the dude, he was off in the distance, and he was kind of with his dog, and he was stepping over on a stream, back and forth, kind of childlike. It was kind of weird, actually. And I'm always apprehensive about people more than I am about anything, because I've ran into crazy meth heads. We've ran into the crazy locals. A lot of people that aren't from small towns don't realize how many strange fucking dudes live here. I mean, there's places that I've been told here, don't even go there. These people will literally shoot at you. They are nuts. And, there's a lot of places like that around Washington, Darrington. I ran into some meth heads up there. I ran into meth heads when I went crystal mining, and it was almost like a standoff. It was just really uncomfortable. And I always have told people, go with your first instinct on somebody. If you feel that this person is bad and not good, you're probably right. Now, some people are what they call silver-tongued devils. And a silver-tongued devil can get you to like him really quick, so you will change your opinion on him. But your intuition had originally told you to not trust this person. I've heard that this can help you be really successful in life in general, if you're trying to make a decision over something and you can't decide what to do. Well, what was your first instinct? And if you look back on your life and the decisions you've made, you might find that, wow, he's right. I have been able to look back on my life, and a lot of the first instincts that I should have gone with, I didn't, and it didn't work out for me. So anyways, I went off to the trail because I turned around and I saw him behind me. And it wasn't until he was about 20 yards behind me, he goes, hello. And I stepped off the trail and sat on a rock at that moment, and just like to make it kind of look like I was resting. And then he stepped off the trail, but he went way off the trail. And he could have been looking at a view, I'll give him that. And he was with a very well-trained dog, I'll give him that. I'm not going to show him on camera because I just think that might be a bad idea. So I went up the trail a little bit more, and I knew there was a big rock up there. And I was like, I'm going to wait for this guy. I'm going to let this guy pass me, and I'm going to walk behind him. And so I got up there, and I sat on the rock, and we had a short conversation. He thought I was with the fire department because I was training. My bag was so big. And we had a short conversation there, and I decided I'd be more comfortable walking with him than having him like separate from me. And that was probably a bad decision. My first instinct was to let this guy pass, but he was one of those guys that once he started talking to me, it's like I couldn't get rid of him. So I asked him if he wanted to hike with me for a little bit, and so he hiked with me. And to tell you the truth, I was getting the real bad vibes off of what he looked like. And I'm the type of person that you definitely don't want to judge a book by its cover. In high school, I was a really nice kid that didn't get in trouble, didn't hurt small animals or people or anything like that. But I didn't make friends because I was a goofy looking guy. I parted my hair down the middle, had dandruff, wore my backpack throughout class, didn't take off my jacket. I was that loner kid. So I've definitely learned you don't want to judge people based off of their looks. But this guy, it was 25 degrees out. He was wearing his pajama pants. He was wearing tennis shoes that were, breaking at the middle. He had a coat on that was different. And he had one of those, I cut my own hair style haircuts where you kind of shave it down the side and then you put it into a ponytail. And then he just had a rough looking manner about himself. He looked like a crackhead or a meth head, to be real honest. So again, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but man, it's really cold to be out here in pajama pants. Like, what are you doing? And he walked with me a ways into the woods to the point where I was getting about half a foot in the snow, and he was still trudging along in his tennis shoes, and you could see his shoes were like soaking wet. And so one side of you guys could easily say, well, it's just some dude, just some dude out with his dog. But it's when he started talking about and making jokes about beating women that I knew, yep, you were right. Your intuition was just 100% right. He made really inappropriate, disgusting jokes. I'm not a murderer or anything like that, but I wanted to push him off the cliff and do society a favor by the time he got up to the point where I could push him off a cliff. We had a rough upbringing. My biological dad is not the dad you see on my camera. That's my stepdad. He's a great man. Got a heart of gold. But my bio dad was a bad man. And I have zero tolerance for people hurting women on any way. Like, it makes me physically angry. And my intuition had told me, like, when I even just saw him, just judging the book by the cover actually maybe did work. And he had a lot of stories about just messed up stupid shit. What was kind of funny is he worked at the Walmart out here, and those goofy Alaskan family bush people, just hope you're not a fan of the show. It's very fake. They've lied about everything that they've done out here. They've lied about being cut off. They've lied about how long it takes them to get to their house. It only takes them like 10 minutes to drive up the road. They've lied about living in teepees. They've lied about everything. We all know. If you don't know, sorry, breaking it to you, Alaska family bush people is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And they're bad people. Do some research on the guy. Guy's got like tax evasion. They got busted for welfare fraud. All kinds of stupid shit. So anyways, he told me that his buddy that worked at the weed shop in town sold them weed. And then he got fired because he told a bunch of people, I think on social media. And so I was like, I knew it. I knew those Alaska family guys were going to be in there buying the weed. But anyways, he had just a host of stories that were like really negative, and my intuition was right. It was 100% right. So I definitely want to leave this with you guys as like a little story of if you meet somebody, especially out in the woods, and you get a bad vibe, distance yourself from them. Don't hang out with them like I did. For me, for whatever reason, I thought that having control over the situation, if he was near me, would be a little bit better. That was probably a bad decision as well. And I had to hike up another mile up the ways because the guy would just not lead. I mean, he was going far into the woods dressed like he just got out of bed and made himself some coffee. To me, it was very bizarre. I've got on gaiters, I've got on snowshoes, and all this stuff. And I've been cold training since last spring to make it so I can like withstand these temperatures a little bit better. And he's just trudging right along. And I stopped for an extended break, and I waited like 10 minutes. And I was like, man, I gotta take a break. And I was hoping he might say, I gotta turn around, and he didn't. And then we went about another quarter mile, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go camp up there for tonight. So, this is where I'm gonna part ways with you. And shook his hand, and I went up the hill, and I just sat there for like 20 minutes and had something to eat, and then I like went back down the hill because I didn't want him seeing where I'm going up here. I didn't want anybody going up here or following me or anything like that, because I just don't want people, not because I'm not supposed to be doing bushcraft. I'm only making a debris shelter. I'm not cutting down trees out here. And I'm not doing anything in any place I'm not supposed to be doing it. So I just didn't want people to know where I was going off to, especially some fucking weirdo that, is confided in me about hitting his wife. Like that does make me uncomfortable. So keep that in mind in life. And that first intuition, I've usually always like nailed people like 100% with that. I don't think there's anybody that I've ever thought was a bad person and turned out to be a good person. And don't forget that silver-tongued devil. Whatever your first intuition was with somebody is generally correct. And it's the silver-tongued devils out there that will weasel their way into your life and make you think that they're somebody that they're not. So be careful about that. So I'm just kind of warming up a little bit before I go because my feet are really cold. Let's walk over just for a second and take one last look at the shelter. And I had a lot of plans for you guys. I had one little kind of cool surprise that I had been planning too. Planning for a couple of weeks, and it just didn't work out. I do think my spot was good. Last night I kind of was thinking that maybe I should have put it up top for the view. But then, based off of how much... See, I walked back and forth from here to the bottom to a little good ways over there and then walking up. And I probably walked back and forth a dozen times looking for a spot to put this. And I wanted something that was kind of out in the open, a little bit away from the trees. You can definitely see that, for whatever reason, my gimbal's being funny. But there are trees, you know, that could definitely fall, but it's a little bit more out in the open. And I was able to pull up on those, and nothing snapped, nothing got loose at the top. So I'm happy about it. And this is not going to be a bushcraft video. Like a lot of my videos that do really well is because I post it to Reddit, like the last one, Our Survival. Hell yeah, Our Survival. Those guys are great. But this one I'm not. This is just a backpacking trip, kind of a ranty talk over the fire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking the highlights and the best of these trips and putting them into something that's a little bit more well constructed. Something like maybe TA Outdoors would make. And I know this doesn't look like much, but by the time I had found them, walked back and forth throughout here about a dozen times, like I said, walked up there, sawed off the ends of them to like make them like level. I was just exhausted, and the hiking. I was just totally exhausted. So, but this to me was actually the hard part, I think at least. Finding the downed wood that was just the right size, and then the knot. The knot, I spent, like I said last night, like 30 minutes on that thing. Huge pain in the butt, but it's tight. It's super tight. I put a lot of trust into that. So next time when we come up, we'll be putting the door on it, like a door frame. And then we'll be putting some debris and stuff. There are a lot of green branches here that I can take from here and there. And kind of stack it up along the sides. And then after that, the goal will be a nice overnight in it. So probably won't be back out for about another 5 days. And so yeah, I'm just gonna get this warmed up here. Want to thank everybody for watching. Want to thank my patrons, Rick and WASD20. Thank you guys. Patrons do make this happen. Rick made it so I could go out and get a new sleeping bag with his generous donation. And so if you ever want to see the channel grow more, feel free to become a patron. If not, just continue watching as you are and with your great comments. Love all you guys, and I will catch you later. So I wanted to show you guys some rose hips. These actually last until the winter. You can still pick them in the early of December. Even now I could make a tea with these, and they're all over the United States, Canada. I think you might even have them over in Europe. And all you got to do is just take a bunch of these, and boil some water, soak them in the water, and you're good to go. You don't even need to cut them up. Although I see a lot of people cut them up, and you need to make sure you have a good strainer for that. But it makes a really delicious, tasty tea. Is that bear? I looked up bear scratches, and a lot of stuff looks like this.